Somewhere in the middle of the ocean, near the southern tip of Japan, there are some islands called Okinawa. Researchers, people whose job is to ask questions and find answers, kept visiting these islands because of something very strange they noticed. The people there were not getting sick the way people in other parts of the world were getting sick. In fact, more people on these islands live past 100 years old than anywhere else on Earth. 100 years old. That means they live longer than your great-great-grandparents most likely did. But here is the really interesting part. These people were not just alive for a long time. They were healthy for a long time. No big diseases. No weak bodies. Grandmothers still working in their gardens at 90 years old. Grandfathers fishing in the sea at 85. Not lying in hospital beds. Not forgetting the names of their grandchildren. Actually living. Scientists spent years trying to figure out the secret. They studied what these people ate, how they moved, how they slept, and how they spent their days. And what they found was surprising. The biggest clues were not in what these people ate. The clues were in what they did not eat. This video is about those 5 things and why they matter so much. The first thing Okinawan elders almost never ate was sugary food. The kind of sugar we find in candy, fizzy drinks, biscuits, and packaged snacks. Not because anyone told them not to. It just was not part of their food culture. If they wanted something sweet, they ate a purple sweet potato called beni-imo. It is naturally sweet, but it also has something called fiber inside it, which slows down how fast the sweetness gets into your blood. Think of it like this. Imagine you are filling a bucket with water. If you pour the whole bucket in very fast, it overflows and makes a mess everywhere. But if you pour slowly, the water fills the bucket neatly and nothing spills. That is exactly what fiber does with sugar in your body. It slows things down so your body can manage it properly without anything overflowing. When we eat too much fast sugar, the kind in sweets and fizzy drinks, it creates a mess inside our body again and again, every day. Over many years, this mess builds up and can cause serious health problems like diabetes. The Okinawans barely had this problem because their sugar came packaged slowly inside a whole food. Here is something worth thinking about. The beni-imo sweet potato was not just a food. It was the main thing Okinawans ate, not a side dish, the centerpiece of their entire diet. An entire culture built its energy around one humble purple root grown from the ground. And that root, eaten day after day for decades, quietly kept their blood calm, their bodies steady, and their cells working well into old age. Simple, consistent, powerful. The second thing mostly absent from the traditional Okinawan diet is something you might not have heard of: processed seed oils. These are oils made from corn, sunflower, and soybeans in big factories. They are used in almost every packet of crisps, every fast food restaurant, and most things that come in a box or wrapper. Your body needs some fat to work properly. But the type of fat matters. The oils Okinawans used were simple: a little bit of pork fat or the natural fat found in fish. These fats work peacefully with your body. The factory-made oils, when eaten in large amounts every day, make the body feel like it is under a small attack all the time. Scientists call this inflammation. It is like a very quiet, slow fire burning inside. You cannot feel it, but over 30 or 40 years, it slowly damages your body from the inside. Imagine leaving a small candle burning inside a wooden house every single night. On any one night, nothing terrible happens. But after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the walls are scorched, the beams are weakened, and one day, the whole thing becomes fragile. That is what chronic inflammation does to the human body. Not in one dramatic moment. Slowly, quietly, over years and years of small daily choices that nobody notices at the time. The third thing is white rice. Now this one might surprise you, because Japan is famous for rice. But the traditional Okinawans actually ate very little of it. Their main food was that purple sweet potato again. White rice has had most of its good parts removed when it is processed. The sweet potato still has all its good parts. It has vitamins. It has fiber. It fills your stomach in a way that is gentle and steady. Scientists noticed something very important here. When younger generations of Okinawans started eating more white rice and more Western food like hamburgers and fried things, their health started changing too. They began getting the same diseases as people in other countries. The very thing that had made their grandparents so healthy was quietly disappearing from their plates. This is one of the most important lessons from Okinawa. It was not genetics. It was not luck. It was not the ocean air or the island sunshine. It was the food. When the food changed, the health changed. The body simply responded to what it was given. It always does. It has no choice. It can only work with what you put inside it. The fourth thing is what we call ultra-processed food. Things like chips, biscuits, instant noodles, packaged cakes, and fast food. These are foods made in factories where the original ingredients are broken down completely and then rebuilt with added salt, sugar, oil, and chemicals to make them taste very good and last a very long time on a shelf. Here is an important idea. Processed food is not just bad because of what it adds to your body. It is also bad because of what it takes away. When food is made in a factory, all the good things inside it, the vitamins, the fiber, the tiny helpful chemicals, get removed in the process. What is left fills your stomach, but does not actually give your body what it needs to work properly. Think of it like sending a letter, but removing all the words before sealing the envelope. The envelope arrives. It looks like a letter. It has your name on it, but there is nothing useful inside. Ultra-processed food is the envelope without the letter. It gives your stomach the feeling of being full, but your cells are left waiting for something that never arrives. Okinawan elders ate things like bitter melon, a green vegetable that looks a bit unusual, but is very good for keeping your blood sugar steady. They ate tofu, which is made from soybeans. They ate seaweed from the ocean. They ate small amounts of fish. These were simple, whole foods. Nothing came in a shiny wrapper. Nothing had 20 confusing ingredients written on the back. Just real food, close to the way nature made it. There is also a phrase in Okinawan culture worth knowing. Hara hachibu. It means stop eating when you are about 80% full, before you feel completely stuffed. This sounds difficult, but when your food is mostly vegetables and whole things, it actually becomes quite natural. Your body gets what it needs before you have eaten too much. The food itself helps you stop at the right time without needing willpower or rules. The fifth thing is something adults think about more than children, but it is still important to understand. Okinawan elders did not drink much alcohol. Alcohol is something that, when used too often over many years, puts a lot of stress on the body. It disturbs sleep. It makes the body produce stress chemicals. It adds to that slow, invisible fire of inflammation we talked about earlier. The oldest and healthiest Okinawans mostly did not make it a regular habit. Sleep is worth pausing on for a moment, because most people do not realize how closely it connects to food and aging. When the body sleeps, it repairs itself. It fixes tiny bits of damage from the day. It resets the immune system. It clears out waste that builds up in the brain during waking hours. The Okinawan elders, by avoiding things that disturb sleep, were giving their bodies full repair time every single night. Night after night, year after year. And the results showed up decades later in their health, their memory, and their energy. Now, what do all 5 of these things have in common? They are all things that make the body work harder than it should, every single day. When you eat refined sugar constantly, your body is constantly managing blood sugar spikes. When you eat factory oils, your body is constantly trying to calm down the small fires they start. When processed food replaces whole food, your body is constantly running low on the vitamins and fiber it needs to repair itself. When sleep is disturbed, The repair cycle never fully completes. The Okinawans who lived past 100 were not doing magic. They were simply not overloading their bodies every day. Their bodies could rest, repair, and stay strong, because no single meal was full of things that caused damage. And this went on not for 1 week or 1 month, but for their entire lives. None of this means you have to eat exactly like someone in Okinawa. You do not need to find purple sweet potatoes or bitter melon at your local market. The foods are different everywhere. That is not the point. But the 5 things that were mostly absent from their diet: refined sugar, factory-made oils, too much refined white carbohydrate, ultra-processed food, and regular alcohol, are not specific to one culture or one island. Scientists have found the same patterns in long-lived communities in Italy, Greece, Costa Rica, and California. Different places, different cuisines, different languages, but the same things missing from every single one of them. Your body is incredibly capable. It knows how to heal itself, fight off illness, and keep you strong for a very long time, if you give it the chance. The question is simply how many obstacles you place in its way, and how often you place them. A young person today will make hundreds of thousands of food choices over their lifetime. None of those individual choices will be the one thing that decides how long and how well they live. It is never about one meal, but the pattern of those choices, repeated quietly over years, shapes everything in ways that cannot be seen until much later. The Okinawan elders did not plan to live to 100. They did not follow a program or read a book about longevity. They simply ate the way their grandparents ate, close to the earth, with few ingredients and nothing coming in a factory packet. That was enough. For most of them, it was more than enough. If this was helpful, consider subscribing for more content like this. Thank you for watching.